What is going on to all my Apple TV Plus fans out there, and welcome back to my channel. We are back discussing this final season of C, episode 7, which was titled God Thunder, an episode in which we see fire falling from the sky. The queen has to pick between her family and the kingdom, and the wolves are out to hunt for that demon queen. What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. We are back breaking down the second to last episode of Apple TV Plus C, and we got a lot to break down here in this 7th episode. But before we get into our spoiler discussion, if you all haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way you can stay up to date with all my daily content. You can also give your boy a follow on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. All those links can be found in the description of this video. Which, speaking of this video, I would really appreciate it if you all can give this video a thumbs up, as well as share this video to anyone and everyone you know that loves this show just as much as we do. But more importantly, how do we feel about this 7th episode, second to last episode of this season and this series as a whole? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Are you disappointed? What do you all want to see in next week's series finale? Let's talk about it in the comments below. With all that being said, let's get into the breakdown. Full spoilers ahead. We pick up from last week's events as Kofun learns of Sibeth's plans as they are ready and prepared to destroy Pennsa. Meanwhile, Maghra and June say their goodbyes and their prayers to the witch finders that they captured and killed last week, but they didn't have much time to do so because they are now being bombarded and hit with the bombs after their release, as we see that Baba Voss is too late, and again they're releasing these bombs, and Maghra and June are heading back to the palace to save Wolfie as one of the bombs actually hits the palace, showing us as the audience as the building is collapsing, and we are under the assumption within the first 5 minutes we just saw Maghra, June, and Wolfie die. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you all. I was kind of, as you all know my review last week, I wasn't really feeling last week, and I was hopeful this week was going to really kind of set the stage for the end of this really great show. And right off the bat, I'm like, yo, I thought they were going to save the deaths for next week, which they do, but I'm just living in the moment, and let me know how you all felt about this opening sequence. I'm like, we just watched the death of 2 lead characters and a baby. Okay, we are in for something unique. We'll get to what ends up happening, but again, let me know how you all felt about that opening sequence as we get back into the breakdown. Cut back and forth throughout this episode with flashbacks of Baba and Maghra when they met back in the events of season 1, when they met each other. And I'm going to be honest with you all, even though I wish there was a lot more action in this 7th episode, but I assume they're saving that budget, the choreography for next week. One can only hope. But I have to admit to you all, the flashback sequences, and we'll break down the other ones with Maghra and Baba, it worked for me. It really did, because I do think their chemistry is there, their love for one another, and also we'll talk about the death sentence that they put on themselves a little bit later. But I like those moments. Again, we'll talk about the other 2 that we get, but let me know how you all like the flashbacks and the importance of their relationship, their bond, their family they created. Let me know how you all like those flashbacks as we get back into the discussion. Cutting back to the palace, it is revealed that the 3 of them are alive as we learn that Sibeth lets them take in everything that just occurred, and we see that Kofun is having a conversation with the mother of his child. As we see, Sibeth kisses him, and she tells him that her mother is no different than she is. It just really depends on what side of the coin you lie on, as Kofun attempts to get through to her as he brings up Wolfie, and we see her kind of tearing up. I think that ship has been way on when she tried to kill Wolfie. I think everything motherhood, her being a mother, out the door. So I don't even know why Kofun was trying to, I know why he's doing that. It's like he's trying to get to her, but as the show has written and as we are watching this as the audience, she doesn't care about Wolfie. So I don't really understand why they will put that in there. But again, I guess, try to understand what Kofun's trying to do to try to get to her. But again, she tried to kill your son many episodes ago, but I digress as we get back into it. Maghra wakes up and she knows exactly why her sister has temporarily stopped the thunder bombs from the sky as they're preparing to go to war, but more importantly, they have to find Kofun, which, speaking of Kofun, he is introduced for the first time to Tormada as he gives him this kind of alignment of like, hey, I'm going to need sighted people and get the bombs together, which we'll talk about, the most unnecessary scene in this entire episode. But I thought that they were going to take kind of an angle of like, He's the new husband, right? Or the new lover, because we'll talk about that scene later, of Sibeth. And I thought they were going to have more of a back and forth. But that scene is kind of short-lived, because we shortly find out as Sibeth decides to let Kofun go, getting back into it. Meanwhile, Maghra finds out about Harlan's death as Hanawa gives her the key that was meant to help, which we find out that in this hidden compartment, he has a sound wand and a map of Pennsa, which has tunnels that lead out of the city, which we see later on in the episode. Hanawa and Rin go down there to eventually get the people out, which we'll talk about that later. But shout out to Harlan. Again, he's the MVP. He always comes up in the clutch. Again, RIP. But I like that moment. And also, y'all will notice in that scene, Maghra was upset, right? She kind of got a little emotional. And she also, and I appreciate that they put this in the show, she used him, right? Obviously, there was a level of respect that she had for Harlan. Obviously, we know her heart is towards Baba Voss and her family, but I like that she at least acknowledged that she was just kind of using him for a certain degree, but at the same time, she respected what he did and knew that she loved him. So I like that moment, but I also had to bring it up because, again, Harlan, you're the real MVP. Rest in peace to that great character. As we get back into the discussion, as Kofun is set free to deliver this message to let them know that they need to surrender and to give Sibeth her kingdom back, or else they will destroy the rest of Pennsa and everyone will turn to ash. I'm like, okay, Sibeth. Now, I'm going to let y'all know right now. If this was, I always like to compare this to Game of Thrones or something like that. If that was Cersei Lannister, no remorse. I don't care if you're my brother, sister, mother, dad, son, daughter. She would have continuously bombarded Pennsa with those bombs to destroy. I don't get the logic. I think Sibeth, and it's such a back and forth because she can be so cutthroat at times, but I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments, when was it that we established that Sibeth is just like so resentful towards her sister that she would be willing to not destroy and just take the kingdom back versus like having her sister come to her to apologize? Like, I don't know if Sibeth from season 1 or 2 would have done it. I think she just would have literally did what I said, just bombard the city with bombs and just take it over forcefully versus come in my face. I'm going to disrespect you. I want you to apologize. And she probably would have killed her. But I don't know. I felt like that was just kind of the show's way of giving us, again, the finale. But I don't know. I wish they would have just shown how ruthless and cutthroat she really is. But let me know how you all feel about it. Should she have just continued to throw the bombs, or do you like the idea that she is just so relentless and ruthless to the sense that she would want her sister to physically come to her to, submit their submission and to surrender this war? Let me know your thoughts on that as we get back into it. As Maghra is ready to accept these terms, she is ready to meet her sister. She passes out, which we get one of those flashbacks again. Meanwhile, back with Tormada, he's with Sibeth, who wishes that she never gave Kofun up because he could have used him with his sight. As he mentions to her that he doesn't believe in God, and she tells him, well, maybe you never met the right one. This scene here, as it alludes that she's pleasuring him, again, a very Sibeth move, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, this is so unnecessary. I don't need this scene. Like, we can focus on something else. Like, I thought that scene was just kind of stupid, if I'm being honest with you all, but let me know. I thought that was the worst scene of the entire episode. But let me get back into the breakdown here. Let me know your thoughts on it as we move on. You want to know what a death sentence looks like, ladies and gentlemen? Well, here you go. As we see Maghra and Baba having their last flashback with her having the pregnancy, and they have this conversation where Maghra tells him that once they get the people to safety, that she will choose her family over the kingdom, and she wants to move in the mountains forever. And we see Baba, and again, going back to that flashback, which again, I like the flashback because it submits their love and their relationship and their commitment to the family. Baba tells her, I would die to protect my family. And I'm like, yep, there it is. And I've been talking about it since episode 1 of this season. Baba Voss, his ultimate sacrifice is he's going to sacrifice himself to save his family. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's a happy ending and they're in the mountains together, which based on this ending, they don't have to be in the mountains if he accomplishes what he's setting out to do, which is kill the demon queen. But I think we're just going to ultimately end up seeing Baba die next week. Again, I hope that I am wrong because I love Baba Voss. Y'all know that. But I think he pretty much just submitted his death wish to next week's finale. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I've seen enough TV and movies to know when characters say, oh, let's go off and do this, it tends to not have a happy ending. But we'll see what comes of that as we wrap up this episode. We see Baba Voss and Ranger smoking some weed as the people leave through the tunnels, as the family embraces themselves one last time, as Pennsa is ultimately destroyed. We end the episode with them realizing that Baba is missing, and we cut to him saying goodbye to his dog No at the gates, ready to kill Sibeth, and it's Baba versus the army. But wait, he has a +1, our boy Ranger, as they sit and look at each other. Hey, can I join you? And he's like, yeah, you can join me. And they say this, the coldest line of the season, as they say the wolves are here and the wolves are ready to hunt. There were some moments in this episode that was a little boring. I wish there was a little bit more action. I didn't think that we needed that Sibeth pleasuring Tormada scene, but it was almost all that stuff I didn't really care for. It was kind of made up in this last moment. I talked about it weeks ago. Whenever we get Baba and Ranger on screen together, the chemistry, number one, is fantastic. And them going against an army and them saying they're the wolves, that was pretty epic. I got kind of chills on my skin when they said that. I thought that moment was here. It was very awesome, but I hope that moment leads into what I hope to be a fantastic finale, not only for this season, because this season has been a little bit rocky. We'll talk about that in next week's review, but I am hopeful that this is a great conclusion for this season, but also for this show. So again, my predictions, throw yours in the comments now. I think Baba's gonna die. I really hope I'm wrong. If he doesn't die, I can see Maghra dying. I think Kofun, they have kind of set the stage for him being a father to Wolfie. I think that Hanawa is gonna make it to wherever the rest of those knowledge and the books, and her and Ren are going to be off with each other. I don't know if Charlotte's going to come back, but we'll see with that. But I'm having my money on Baba dying next week, killing Sibeth. I don't think she's going to live, but either Baba or Maghra. And I would like for Maghra, if I'm being honest with you all, I would like for her to be the one that gives the final blow to her sister, right? Because we know this whole season she's been back and forth with, she can't kill her sister, she doesn't have it in her. So I would actually like that to happen, which in return might have her die. And also Tormada, he's going to die too. But I could be completely wrong. Maybe they'll all like shake hands and decide to work together, but I doubt that would happen. But anyway, that's my thoughts on the 7th episode. It wasn't as bad as last week. It wasn't as eventful as I hope it was to be, but there are more good than there is bad. That's just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Your pros, your cons, your thoughts, your theories, and what you all hope to see next week. If you're still here to this point in this review, thank you so much for the support. Before you all leave, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell. That way you don't miss out on any of my future content. You all have been awesome. Hope you're staying safe. As you can see on the screen now, come and join the community. Check out my other reviews for C. Check out my most recent review, and we'll catch you all on the next breakdown.